Okay, here's the truth. Joy is not an accident. It doesn't randomly appear when life finally cooperates with your plans. It isn't something reserved for people who have flawless relationships, perfect bodies, millions in the bank, or flawless confidence. Joy is something else entirely. It's a practice, a devotion, a way of choosing how to live. Not later, not someday, but now. And yet, most people only experience it in fleeting glimpses, like shooting stars across the night sky. Beautiful, but gone too fast. They wait for joy instead of building it. They hope for it instead of inviting it in. They look for it outside instead of designing a life where it has room to breathe. This is what this conversation is about. You and I are going to build your joy blueprint. Not a fantasy life, not a highlight reel, not a vision board of things you wish you had, but a life that actually lights you up from the inside that you can live right now. A life rooted in meaning and built in truth. A life you don't need to escape from. A life that feels like yours. I want to begin with something I learned the hard way. Joy requires honesty. Before I ever found my way to healing work, I chased happiness the way someone chases air when they're drowning, desperately, without clarity, without direction. I thought joy would come once I achieved enough, once I made enough, once I proved my worth. I postponed joy again and again. Later, when things calm down, later, when I'm more successful, later, when I'm loved. But joy does not wait, and life does not pause for us to earn the right to feel alive. Back then, if you asked me what lit me up, I would have given a rehearsed answer, some vague ambition, something impressive sounding, but deep down, I didn't know. I had lost the thread of what actually made my spirit feel awake. Before COVID started, when I lost almost everything, for at least a decade, I was not living my life. I was only walking the path that everyone else around me was doing. Got a decent job, got married, had kids, etc., etc. And in the picture, there was a golden retriever. But then I realized something heartbreaking. Somewhere along the way, I had become efficient at surviving and completely disconnected from joy. I forgot I was once that girl who would laugh happily while biking in the rain. That is when I understood joy must be reclaimed by choice, and it begins with permission. Most people don't realize that they are subconsciously refusing joy. They're waiting. They're scared of what joy will cost. They're terrified of it being temporary, terrified of losing it. So they keep emotional distance, as if safety lives in self denial. They say, well, it's fine. I'm okay. I don't need that much. But joy with limits is not joy. Joy with conditions is not joy. Joy that must be earned is not joy. It must be received, allowed, invited in. When I finally asked myself, what if joy is not a luxury? What if joy is a responsibility? Everything changed. Because here is what I now know. We're not here to endure life. We're here to feel it, to experience it, to live it. And joy is not separate from purpose. Joy is purpose expressed in daily life. When people talk about life purpose, they often go searching for a single sentence that defines their existence. And don't get me wrong here, I do that too. In fact, it's part of my coaching practice that I guide my clients to draft their life purpose statement because it serves as a North Star, a simple reminder, or even a mantra. It's like putting the address in your GPS. But you don't claim that you found your purpose after you create a sentence and stop there. Purpose isn't only what you do, it's how you bring your energy, your heart, your presence into everything you do. It's how you be, and joy is the fuel of purpose. Without joy, purpose becomes duty. Without joy, even success feels hollow. Without joy, your life becomes a list of tasks, but not a living, breathing expression of who you truly are. So, let's explore this together. What does it mean to design a life that lights you up? Not just once, but every day in simple, grounded, human ways. It starts with this question: what makes your heart feel alive? Not what do people expect from you? Not what sounds impressive? Not what makes you money or keeps you comfortable? Those might be pieces of your life, but they're not the pulse of your fulfillment. Instead, think of the moments you feel something real, those little holy sparks that remind you that your soul is awake. Maybe it's building something from nothing. Maybe it's writing truth. Maybe it's teaching. Maybe it's dancing in your kitchen. Maybe it's hiking a mountain trail with mist in the air. Maybe it's a deep conversation at midnight. Maybe it's serving others in ways that matter. These moments are not random, they're clues. Joy is the whispers from your soul. Your job is to follow the quiet nudges that are leading you home. When I started listening to my soul's whispers, I discovered something. I had been ignoring the very things that made me feel most alive because I was too busy being productive. And so many people are caught in the same trap. They think fulfillment comes after they finish everything. But fulfillment doesn't wait at the finish line. It builds mile by mile, not someday, now. Real joy is not a mood, it's a relationship between you and your aliveness. And like any relationship, it must be nurtured, tended to, fed, honored. And that means making space for joy, not as a reward, but as a rhythm. Think of joy as a personal ecosystem. To build it, you must understand the elements that nourish you. This is where the joy blueprint begins, not in perfection or idealism, but in genuine alignment. So ask yourself what you may have forgotten to feel. Ask yourself where you have abandoned what you love. Ask yourself whose approval you have been chasing at the cost of your own soul. In my experience, most of my coaching clients, when asked what lit them up, their answers were almost always their childhood dreams that got lost growing up. But when they recalled their passion, every single one of them would instantly have a smile on their face. As you uncover what you love, then comes the brave part: choosing joy daily, not waiting for it, choosing it, even on quiet days, even when nothing dramatic is happening, even in uncertainty, especially in uncertainty. Joy isn't naive, it's resilient. It isn't blind to pain, it sits beside it and insists there is still beauty in being alive. People think joy and pain are opposites, but they're not. Joy and numbness are opposites. Pain is a part of life. Numbness is the refusal to feel it. And when you numb pain, you also numb joy. That is why so many people feel lost. They're not broken, they're numb. They don't need to be fixed. They need to unlock their hearts and feel again. So, if you want true joy, you must give yourself permission to feel everything, not just what's easy, not just what seems spiritual or socially acceptable. Everything: grief, longing, hope, fear, desire, love. Joy flows through the heart that is willing to stay open again and again and again. There was a chapter in my life when I thought protecting myself would save me. I built walls. I became strong, independent. I didn't rely on anyone. I kept everything under control. That was when I felt the most powerless. Because joy cannot survive in a locked heart. It needs air. It needs movement. It needs connection. Ironically, it took me dating an emotionally unavailable person to learn that my heart too was closed off in a different way. So I learned how to soften, how to let joy in slowly, how to invite moments of goodness without apologizing for them, how to stop waiting for permission. Something incredible happens when you finally choose to live in devotion to what lights you up. You become magnetic. You attract people who feel the same. You align with opportunities that match your energy. You stop chasing life, and life starts moving with you. Joy clarifies everything. When you start designing your life around what truly matters, your decisions become clear. Your boundaries become non negotiable. Your time becomes sacred. You stop over explaining. You stop settling. You stop betraying yourself. Choosing joy is not selfish, it's sacred. Because a life built from joy has overflow to give. It awakens your capacity to serve, to love, to lead. Some people will not understand your joy, and that's okay. You're not here to be universally approved. You're here to be fully alive. In choosing your joy, you give others permission to find theirs too. So now I want to bring this back to you. What would your joy blueprint hold? What would it look like to create a life that feels like sunlight to your soul? It might not look like anyone else's life, and that's the point. Your joy is personal, it's unique, it's the fingerprint of your soul imprinted on your days. Maybe your blueprint includes slow mornings and real connection. Maybe it includes building something meaningful. Maybe it includes time in nature, music that opens your heart, spiritual rituals that keep you grounded. Or maybe it includes creative expression, writing, painting, speaking truth into the world. Maybe it includes laughter. Maybe it includes movement, dance, hiking, martial arts, yoga, because joy lives inside the body too. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. And the simplest way to begin is to follow what expands you and release what contracts you, because that is nature's rhythm. And that is how each and every single one of us was born into this world, following the birth contractions of tightening, which is contraction, and relaxing, which is expansion. Trust what feels real. Follow what feels alive in your chest. Pay attention to what drains your soul and commit to loving yourself enough to choose differently. That is how you build a life of deep fulfillment, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. The world needs people who have come alive because joyful people heal others by presence alone. They remind us that a meaningful life isn't extraordinary. It's honest. It's real. It's intentional. It's lived awake. And so, here's the truth I want you to keep with you. Your joy is your destiny calling you forward, not the superficial kind of joy, but the soul deep joy of a life in alignment. This is not a dream. It's not foolish. It's not unrealistic. It's your birthright. You are allowed to feel good. You are allowed to live a beautiful life. You are allowed to choose joy even now, especially now. The blueprint is already inside you. You just have to listen.